This conference will now be recorded.
So today we are going to discuss this talk of January 2020, which is safe use of electrosurgery in gynecology, laparoscopy surgery. So this talk is basically about the lap surgery. One minute. So this talk is about basically regarding the complications of use of electrosurgery in gynec laparoscopic surgery. Okay. So in this talk, they have discussed regarding the basic physics of this electrosurgery, what are different types of electrosurgeries and what are the complications associated with it and how to prevent them. So electrosurgery, it is the most widely used form of energy in both open and lap surgeries. Because lower cost, widespread availability, versatile application, and advanced technology, it has made possible that more sophisticated designs for more complex procedures. So you can see there are so many cautery designs and different types of waveforms and different types of instruments are available for this electrosurgery. Complications due to rectus. Again, these complications are also, there are more. And why the complications? These are mainly attributed to surgeon's technique, inherent flaws in instrument design, and lack of knowledge in basic principles of electrosurgery. History of use of electrosurgery, I will not go in much detail, but it starts from the before Christ era and it goes on continuing till recently. Bowie and Cushing in 1926, he has developed generator and it used this electrosurgery successfully to excise vascular myeloma. Okay, so it has started as far as behind us 3000 BCE and it is still developing. So applied physics for this electrocauteries or sorry, electrosurgery. Actually, electrocautery and electrosurgery, these are the two different techniques. Okay, so we actually take it synonymously. What always we tell that we use cautery, but it is not. Okay, what we are using is electrosurgery and not the cautery. Remember well. So electrocautery means it is the passive transfer of heat to the tissue with no current passing through it. It uses direct current which moves in one direction. While electrosurgery, it is the application of high frequency alternating current in surgery to achieve various thermal tissue effects like cutting, desiccation, and coagulation. This, it uses different form of current, that is AC or alternate current, which periodically reverses direction to avoid electrolysis and high frequency to avoid paralytic effect on this nerve and muscle stimulation. So this paralytic effect, it stops at frequencies above 100 kilohertz. And frequencies which are not commonly used in electrosurgery, they are more than 500 kilohertz. Now it is again the asked question. So frequencies which are used in electrosurgery, these are more than 500 kilohertz. Electrosurgical circuit, it includes a generator, two electrodes, and a patient. So the patient is a part of this electrical circuit. Electrosurgery is bipolar or electrosurgery is bipolar because it involves two electrodes. Now, instruments either they can be monopolar or bipolar. Okay, so always electrosurgery is bipolar, but electrosurgery instruments what we are using, they can be monopolar or bipolar. So how they can be, we can identify these monopolar and bipolar instruments. So monopolar instrument, here you can see this is a monopolar instrument. It is a direct electrode. Here, this blue color, green color is electrode. It is the patient and it is the reverse electrode. Sorry. Okay. So another electrode is the plate, cautery plate, which we use. Okay. So this acts as a receiving electrode or return electrode. Okay. And then it goes to the main basic electrosurgical unit or generator. So this completes the circuit through the patient. While in bipolar instruments, what happens? The two electrodes are in the jaws of instrument. Okay, so the both electrode are present in the jaws of instrument. There will be no return electrode or no. So here the chance of damage is less in bipolar instruments. Okay, so electrosurgery is always bipolar, but the instrument what we are using, they can be either monopolar or bipolar. So monopolar means dispersive electrode is placed on the patient away from active electrode. Okay. So what we say as cautery plate, it is away from the active electrode. While in bipolar, two electrodes, they are at the tip of the instruments and there is no need of any return electrode or dispersive electrode. Now, the generator of this electrosurgical unit. So it functions as a conversion of low electrical frequency of mains to high frequencies, because as I told you, frequencies involved in electrosurgery, they are more than 500 kilohertz and they are up to 3 million hertz. So generator mainly acts as a converter who converts low energy, low frequency currents to high frequency currents. It adjusts the wattage and indirectly the voltage, and also control of duty cycle. Now coming to the mechanism of electrosurgery. So what happens when this energy enters the tissue? Radio frequency current leads to intracellular conversion of electromagnetic energy to the mechanical energy and then to thermal energy. Effects of thermal energy, they are different at different temperatures, like cutting, coagulation and fulguration. So in cutting, there is a rapid temperature rise of more than 100 degree, which causes cellular vaporization with explosion resulting in cutting. While in coagulation, there will be gradual increase in temperature between 60 to 95 degrees, and it leads to simultaneous tissue desiccation and coagulation. While fulguration, it is a non-contact sparkling with coagulation temperature. So it produces superficial layer of black coagulation over a oozing area, wide oozing area. It uses high voltage with low duty cycle of 6%. It produces high temperature and carbonization. Temperature return back to normal during the long off period. So what do you mean by this cycle of 6%? So out of the time of this electrode usage, but the electrode is active only for 6% of the time. Okay. In the meantime, again the temperature comes to the normal in this remaining 94% of time, and again it goes increasing in the next 6% of time. Okay. So low duty cycle means only for 6% of time the current is active. It results in thin black layer coagulation that insulates deeper tissues and prevents lateral thermal spread. Okay. So this fulguration, it prevents lateral thermal spread, and it also a black layer of coagulation, it insulates deeper layers also. But high voltage, it increases the risk of stray burn, that is adjacent to the area, not bilateral spread, but just adjacent to the area, they can cause burns. So normal thermal effects with different body temperature. So 37, you know, it is a normal body temperature. At 40 degrees, no structural damage occurs. At 50 degree, cell death can occur within 6 minutes. At 60 degrees centigrade, instant cell death can occur. 60 to 95 degrees, instant cell death along with desiccation and coagulation. So this is the temperature for this coagulation, and it is white coagulation. 100%, it is a cellular vaporization and cutting. As I told you, for cutting, 100 degrees centigrade is temperature is required, while 200, it is a black coagulation, or what we call as a fulguration. Monopolar instruments. Now we will come to the different types of instruments used. So monopolar instrument, these are most commonly used energy devices. It works by concentrating the current at the active electrode to produce desired thermal effect and dispersing it at the dispersing electrode to prevent unintended tissue burn. So here it uses this return electrode, which is a cautery plate. This thermal tissue effect is directly proportional to the electrode surface area, tissue impedance and application time. So to increase the thermal effect without causing any complication, what are the precautions to be taken? So avoid temptation to step up ECU wattage. So you do not increase the power of this generator to increase the current. Reduce the radius. So the electrode or the tip of this should be diameter, or this thing should be very sharp. Okay. So reducing the radius of active electrode. Increasing tissue impedance by removing conducting fluid such as blood. So if the bleeding surface is there, remove the blood by suctioning and then use this monopolar current. Compressing arteries or stretching tissues also increases the thermal effect. So these are the important things which may be asked as a SBA, different waveform. So what do you mean by cutting, coagulation and blend currents? So cutting, it is a misnomer. It is a continuous low voltage current. Okay. So high current and low voltage, it results in continuous waveform which causes rapid rise in temperature above 100 degree. It vaporizes and cuts the tissue with minimal coagulation. High voltage low current, it is a coagulation. And see, cutting is a yellow, coagulation is a blue coded electrodes will be there. So slow increase in the temperature less than 100 degrees. So it is 60 to 95 degrees centigrade with desiccation and coagulation. So it is an interrupted high voltage low current. While blend is a blending of these two. So it is a interrupted low voltage modulated cut waveform with variable duty cycle. As I told you, for fulguration they use 6% duty cycle. That means 6% is active time. So it depends upon the percentage of active time. It is called as variable duty cycle. Current and voltage, it produces variable degree of cutting and coagulation. It is known as a blend current, which is most commonly used actually. So here you can see it is a cutting. Okay. So it is more than, it is 100 degree, 100% duty cycle. So it is continuously current flowing through it. It causes clean cut of the tissue. Okay. Now continuous again low volt. So again it is 100%, but there is contact with the tissue. So when this cutting is applied, so it causes white coagulation. So this will not cause cut. Okay. While this for cut, there will be no contact. With this contact, it will cause white coagulation. Blend current means you can see here it is the active electricity. There will be gap, and again there will be the active cycle. Okay, so it is a blending. Here the 50% is used. Here it causes cutting plus coagulation. While what do you call it as a fulguration, which is called as 6% duty cycle. So here the active time is very less, while this low time is high. So there will be no current in between. It will cause the return to the normal temperature. So interrupted high voltage coagulation, if it is 6% with contact, it causes coagulation. With non-contact, it will causes fulguration or sparkling. So these are the difference between different waveforms and their tissue effects. See, this is almost all is physics, maximum related to physics. I don't know how much it is used in your questions, but whatever the important part for you is the complications, and you should remember what are the different types of injuries. So we will come to that later, but this is what all the physics is explained in this talk. I'm just touching to that. Okay. So power output in the generator, it is displayed in watts. Surgeon should use the lowest effective power setting to achieve desired effect. High wattage is associated with increased risk of burn. So for cutting, you should use 50 to 80 watts. For coagulation, you should use 30 to 50 watts. Muscular patients, they require low setting compared to obese or emaciated patients. Electrode surface area, smaller the electrode, higher the current concentration. Activation time, longer the activation time, it increases the extent of tissue damage. Too short activation time may result in inadequate effect. So this is again what I have given this with this waveforms. This is the same thing they have repeated in this table. Okay. So exactly what happens with different temperatures and different effects. Okay. So where there is a contact is there, where there is non-contact, and what is coaptive. It is one more thing, that is coaptive coagulation is used for less than 2 mm vessels. So here what you do is you just compress the tissue in between the two electrodes. Okay. In between the two electrodes, you will compress this tissue to stop the blood flow completely. Okay. So if you stop this blood flow completely, there will be direct wall-to-wall attachment, and it will result in the coaptive coagulation. And what is the mechanism of that? What they have told is blood acts as a conductor of heat, and it decreases the effect. If you compress the vessel correctly, if the walls are, if you stop the blood flow, it will result in this coaptive coagulation. So tissue contact, as I told you, in cutting and fulguration, there is no tissue contact, while in coagulation and desiccation, there will be active contact with the tissue. So this is the coaptive coagulation, what I just explained to you. So here the tissue is compressed between jaws of instrument, thus coapting the blood vessels to prevent the sink effect, where the heat is carried by the flow of blood and achieve hemostatic sealing. Okay, so it can occur with both monopolar and bipolar forces. In monopolar cooperative coagulation, it is recommended to use cutting waveform than coagulation because it results in complete homogeneous seal with reduced risk. So this is basically the to stop the blood flow in between these two jaws, okay, so that there should be no blood flowing through that vessel. It will result in cooperative coagulation. Tissue impedance. So tissue impedance means what is the tissue can prevent this heat through carried through that, or this magnetic electromagnetic waves carrying, which prevents. So tissue with high water content like muscle and skin, it has less impedance, so current can pass easily through it. While scar tissue and fat, it has a high tissue impedance. So thermal effect, it increases with increased tissue impedance. Actually, this is the thing which is given in this talk. I am still doubtful regarding this. Okay, I think it is an error, but still it has not come. So how thermal effect will increase with increased tissue impedance? Actually, with decreased tissue impedance, the thermal effect should increase. But still, I don't know whether this sentence is correct or not. If you find anything related to physics regarding this, please tell me also. Because this is a sentence from this talk and I have not understood this. Then coming to the ischium, it is basically a black area. Okay, so ischium has or a black, what when you use this cautery, you can see that scarred area on this instrument. So it has a high impedance to current. So cleaning active electrode of ischium, it reduces impedance and enhance the effect. Using a moist electrode to cut a wet tissue facilitates the production of steam envelope necessary for effective cutting. So you can see this moist electrode, it functions very effectively. Now coming to the conventional and advanced bipolar instruments. So bipolar, these are basically two electrodes situated at the tip of instrument. There will be no return or receiving electrode there. Okay, so there will be no cautery plate which is required for this bipolar instrument. Safer than monopolar because current flows between two electrodes and the grasp tissue without passing through the dispersing electrode. Uses less voltage and energy. They achieve their hemostatic effect through mechanical compression, desiccation, and coagulation. So this mechanical compression, it obstructs the vessel, helps to develop a proximal thrombus and eliminate the heat sink. Okay. So as I told you in cooperative coagulation, when you catch the vessel in between the two jaws, what happens is that at that place there will be cooperative coagulation. Above that, because of that blood coagulates, there will be a thrombus formation and there will be no blood flow going down. That will eliminate this heat sink effect. So heat sink means blood flowing through that vessel and it causing the transfer of heat from the jaw to the downwards. So coming to the different complication associated with this monopolar and bipolar. So lateral thermal spread, as you can understand, it is more with monopolar, less with bipolar. Direct coupling here means this touching, or you can see here direct we will come to that later. So I will tell you in detail regarding, because everything is discussed further in this talk. Okay, so we will just come to this table later on. Now there is another one is called as mushroom effect. So mushroom effect means it increases the lateral thermal spread. What happens outside the loop? So as the grasp tissue desiccates and coagulates, this current takes the path of least impedance or least resistance outside the jaw of instrument. So here you can see there will be a thrombus formation. There will be a increased impedance will be there. So now what will happen? Current flows away from this instrument, okay, away from this compressed tissue, and it takes the path of least resistance, okay, and it can result to the collateral thermal energy injury to nearby structures. So nearby structures will get affected around this area, okay, where you have grasped this tissue. Here you can see you have grasped this tissue in between two electrodes. So along with this another tissue is also affected because of this lateral thermal spread, okay, or collateral thermal spread. It is called as mushrooming effect. So here touched jaw results in electrical bypass and deficient coagulation. The black line, it represents the jaws of bipolar instrument. So this bypass effects, it is because of over compression of tissue between the jaws of bipolar instrument. It may cause them to touch, leading to electrical bypass. So because of touching these instruments, there will be just going this electricity from here to here without affecting this area. Okay. Disadvantages of this conventional bipolar devices: they may not always produce adequate hemostasis, may require repeated application, increase the risk of lateral thermal spread because of repeated application. See, actually bipolar will decrease this lateral thermal spread, but with repeated application, it increases the risk of lateral thermal spread. Surgeon may have to rely on subjective changes like change of tissue color, vapor bubbles to judge the adequacy of tissue effect. So to overcome this, there are advanced bipolar instruments they have come. So they can seal vessels up to 7 millimeter through optimum energy delivery and mechanical compression. Use of smart generators which use tissue impedance feedback to continuously adjust the voltage and current type, achieve optimal effect. So here the smart generator, they will automatically change their voltage and current. Okay. Use of audio signal to alert the surgeon. So you can hear a beep with this vessel sealing devices like LigaSure. You can hear this beep once this proper or coagulation is achieved. It uses 1/10 of voltage and deliver current in pulse manner to allow this tissue cooling during off period. That means it is a pulse manner. As I told you, for perforation, the off duty cycle will be they allow also automatically. So this is the advantages of this advanced bipolar instruments. Now coming to the complications of overall electrosurgery. Incidence of complication is 2 to 5 per 1,000 procedures. It is regarding overall complication. It is not for monopolar or bipolar, but it is overall electrosurgery complication. 70% injuries, these are not recognized during the surgery. And this delayed diagnosis, it is associated with increased morbidity and mortality. And the most compensation claims in laparoscopy surgery, they are associated with bowel and ureter injuries. Okay. So what are the mechanisms of injuries in this electrosurgery? So it can be caused by active electrode injury. So it can be due to direct application, inadvertent activation, or residual heat, which will come individually to it. It can be because of insulation failure, antenna coupling, direct coupling, or capacitive coupling. So direct application means lateral thermal spread to unintended tissue near the tip of electrosurgical instrument during activation. Direct application is the most common type of electrosurgical injury. Remember well, this is again a question. So direct application is the most common type of electrosurgical injury. Extent of lateral thermal spread, it depends upon the device used, its power setting, tissue impedance, and the activation time. Monopolar devices, they have greatest degree of lateral thermal spread. So how to prevent this direct application is avoid close proximity devices to vital tissues like bowel, ureter, and blood vessels. So better to stay away from these structures while applying electrosurgery. Shorter activation time is recommended. Use for very less time. To secure hemostasis near vital structures, use alternative methods like clips, sutures, and staples. So these are methods to prevent direct application injuries. Another thing which is called as pedicle effect. So it is when a monopolar instrument, it is applied to the narrow vascular pedicle or adhesion. What happens here is an unintended burn occurs at remote area. Because this pedicle, when it is a narrow or adhesion, there will be fibrosis there. And because of this impedance, the electrosurgery or the heat or thermal effect goes very less to the properly attached area, while because of the lateral spread, it causes burn or burn occurs in the remote narrow pedicle or adhesion where the current density is higher. So factors which affect this lateral thermal spread are current. In case of current, continuous current increase the lateral thermal spread, pulse current decreases it. High voltage increases, higher setting, it increases lateral thermal spread. Low tissue compression. So big pedicle, when you do, you cannot achieve this proper tissue compression. Okay, so it will also increase this lateral spread. Application time, so longer application, it is associated with more lateral thermal spread. and monopolar is associated with the highest lateral thermal spread. Now coming to the inadvertent activation. So what happens? You are not using that electrode. You have just kept the instrument inactive, and sometimes you just press the paddle or you just activate that electrode and it causes burn to the unintended area where you are not supposed to use this electrosurgery. So how to prevent it is avoid accidentally stepping on the foot pedal. When active electrode is not used, remove it from the body and place it in a dry rigid plastic holder with no other instrument. Use an audible activation tone to be heard by the team. Okay. So with this, when you press the foot pedal, there should be an audible activation tone so that you should understand that you have inadvertently pressed on that foot pedal. Coming to the residual heat. So energy devices, they can maintain the heat near the tip for variable period of time after deactivation. Ultrasonic energy devices, they have high residual heat than electrosurgical devices. We think that this harmonic or this thing, they will have low residual heat, but no, they have higher residual heat. Surgeon should avoid touching to other instrument with instrument tip immediately after deactivation because of this residual heat may get transferred to the other areas. If the bowel is inadvertently touched, it should be examined for blanching and suturing should be done to avoid delayed perforation. This again, I think I have read some question somewhere. So what happens if you inadvertently touch the bowel? So C for blanching. If blanching is present, suture it. Okay. Now coming to the next mechanism, that is insulation failure. So it is a breakdown of insulation layer of active electrode. Incidence of this insulation failure is 20% in reusable instruments, while 3% in disposable instruments. Distal third of instrument is the most commonly affected site. Robotic instruments, they are most often affected. Causes may be because of repeated cleaning and sterilization, normal wear and tear, and use of high voltage. Most of these effects, the most important thing is why these occur is because most of these effects, they are not visible to naked eye. And smaller the hole, higher the incidence of catastrophic burn, because all the current spreads to that, goes through that hole, smaller hole only. So this insulation defect that can be detected by a specific instrument, that is if so you have to use that thing and to know the defect before the surgery, because it is difficult to visualize very tiny defects. An active electrode with indicator shaft is designed with 2 layers of insulation. Okay, so there are 2 layers of insulation. If one fails also, another remains active. So outer black insulation will be there and inner yellow insulation will be there. So shaft is replaced as soon as the yellow layer is exposed. Okay, so even if your black area or black outer layer is affected, and when you see that the yellow layer is visible, that is the time that you should change your instrument. Active electrode monitoring technology, it prevents stray current burns from insulation failure and capacitive coupling. So this is the again one question. What is the active electrode monitoring is useful for? So it is only useful for insulation failure and capacitive coupling. It is not useful for direct coupling. Okay. Now, another thing which is mechanism of injury is antenna coupling. So what happens if you use all these three in a single trolley or nearby, that is camera, light source and electrosurgical unit. So when these all are very nearby, what happens is when the active electrode emits electromagnetic energy in the air, it is captured by nearby inactive cord or wire, which can be camera cord or monitoring devices like ECG or neuromonitoring devices. So it will lead to, here you can see your telescope is there, here the light source is there, and this active electrode which is used by this current, that is it can be either monopolar. So here the current passes through this either camera cord or light source and it causes burns. So prevention of this antenna coupling, separating laparoscopy tower from ESU, avoiding parallel arrangements of cords, and this complication is initiated with the cords and wires, they are bundled off the surgical field. Okay, so it is that this bundling should not be done. Okay, so that is there, it should be kept separately whenever you are operating. Now, direct coupling means when the active electrode touches another metal instrument, it causes direct activation of that instrument. So, if your electrode touches another metal instrument like suction cannula or camera telescope, when another tissue comes in contact with this metal instrument, it will get burned. Okay, this is technique related. So it is basically the responsibility of prevention lies with the surgeon. So here you have to be very careful that your electrode should not touch another instrument. So how to prevent it? Energy must not be activated until the instrument is out of metal trocar and its tip is in the view. So because it is the tip where the electricity is going to be transferred or the current is going to be transferred. So this tip should be always under the vision whenever you are activating. Ports must be placed so as to avoid instrument shafts from touching the bowel. Okay, so instrument shaft should not touch the bowel. Active and other metal instruments, they should be kept in panoramic view. So whenever you are using this bipolar instrument or monopolar instrument and another port you have suction cannula, so both should be in view together. Okay, so that suction cannula should not be out of the view so that you will miss that direct coupling. Surgeon should be the only person to activate the energy. If there is an instrument is seen, surgeon should examine the length of instrument looking for any contact with vital tissue. In the evidence of burn, corrective measures like suturing should be done and patient should be informed. Now this is again important, that is capacitive coupling. So here the transfer of electric current, it occurs through intact insulation. So there will be no insulation failure, but there is a transfer from active electrode into the adjacent conducting material without direct contact. So here monopolar lap instruments, their designs create large capacitor. The energy is transferred to capacitive coupling depends upon the capacitor size, activation mode, and voltage output. So exactly what do you mean by capacitive coupling? How you can understand it is, so here you can see when an active electrode is passed down a metal suction irrigator, an operative laparoscope or a hybrid cannula. So here you can see metallic cannula is there. Your cannula is metallic, okay? While the gripper for this cannula is plastic. So you think that it is very safe. But what happens because of this plastic cannula, whenever this active electrode is pushed inside or when it is inserted inside, this current, because of this hybrid design of this instrument, the current passes through this conductor, okay? This this cannula on the metal cannula, the current passes and it may cause inadvertent injury to the underlying structures. So when the insulated shaft or active electrode, it touches the non-targeted tissue like bowel or adhesion. When the active electrode induces a current in nearby cold instrument, when the current is induced into adjacent tissue and instrument in a single port laparoscopy. Okay, so in single port laparoscopy, again, if the instrument and adjacent tissue, they are come in contact with each other, it will again cause this capacitive coupling. So these are the examples of capacitive coupling that you should remember. How to prevent this capacitive coupling? First important is avoid hybrid cannulas. That means metal plus plastic. Lowering ESU power setting, using cut rather than coagulation mode, using short interrupted activation, avoiding open activation, not operating close to metal in the operative field, use of adaptive electrosurgical technology which measures tissue impedance during activation and modify output voltage accordingly. So there are automatic, these generators are there, they modify the output voltage, and use of active electrode monitoring. So we will come to that, what do you mean by active electrode monitoring. So technologies which are developed for the safe electrosurgery. So introduction of isolated ESU. So it should not be with this routine laparoscopic instruments. Contact quality monitoring of the dispersive electrode. To avoid alternate site burns, active electrode monitoring, it is introduced in 1990. Alternate site burns in lap surgeries, they are more dangerous because they are internal and they are usually unrecognized at the time of surgery and they can be potentially fatal, like bowel perforation. So this is the active electrode monitoring. What happens with this active electrode monitoring? So they are specific instrument. They have two extra coaxial layers. a conductive shield, and second outer insulation layer. All these fit in 5 mm cannula. Circuit is established between the conductive shield, active electrode monitor, and ESU. So here you can see this is active electrode monitor unit. This is ESU. There is a connection in between these two, okay, and this instrument. So this AEM system, it continuously monitors the conductive shield. So it is basically, it monitors this instrument for insulation failure and capacitive coupling. So these are the two things which are prevented by this use of active electrode monitoring. The protective shield is considered as second dispersive electrode which returns stray current safely to the monitor and then to ESU. So if the active electrode monitor detects any dangerous level of stray current, it deactivates the ESU. Okay, so there will be it immediately stops working. Use of AEM, it is surgeon independent. Okay, so it is not dependent upon the surgeon. It is the most effective way of dealing with stray current caused by insulation failure and capacitive coupling. Now coming to the single port laparoscopy. So what do you mean by single port laparoscopy? 3 or 4 instruments, they are passed through the single port. Here there is increased risk of insulation failure, direct coupling, capacitive coupling with monopolar instruments. Increased risk due to increased length of zone 2. Now what do you mean by zone 2? So this is usually a single port instruments. Okay. So 4 zones of laparoscopic instruments. So this is zone 1, which is usually the tip of the electrode. This is zone 1. Zone 2, it is the part of instrument which lies outside the cannula. Okay. And it is usually out of the monitor view. What we do usually during lap surgery, the tip is always visible. Well, this is the area which remains invisible through the laparoscope. Okay. And then zone 3, it is the part which is inside the cannula and it is also out of monitor view. Zone 4 is the part of instrument which lies outside the cannula. So what happens in single port laparoscopy? There is increased length of zone 2. So zone 2 is the zone where the instrument is not within the lap view and not also inside the cannula, but it is outside the cannula and not in the view. So it can be in touch directly with any organ and it can cause the burns. The proximity and crossing of instruments, it also increases the risk of complication. Prevention, use of alternative devices like bipolar or ultrasonic instrument. Use monopolar instruments with AEM technology. Use metal cannula to disperse capacitive charge into abdominal wall. Use 3 mm device to reduce capacitive coupling. Now, electrosurgery and electromagnetic interference means what? Like your ECG monitor, neurological monitor. Okay. So this electrosurgery can interfere with cardiac implants, pacemakers, defibrillators, and neurologic stimulators. Such interference can damage the device or can damage the person's tissue like myocardium, or it can cause arrhythmia and asystole. So prevention is liaise with cardiologist preoperatively if the patient is having any pacemakers. Okay, use bipolar or ultrasonic devices in patients who are dependent on cardiac implants, because these first complications what I have told you, these are not occur with bipolar instrument like capacitive coupling or direct coupling. These things do not occur with bipolar instruments. So wherever possible, use bipolar instruments in this high risk patient. While using monopolar instrument, test this dispersive electrode as far as away from cardiac implant. Use capacitive coupled return electrode. Use the lower power cut mode to coagulate and short activation. Avoid current vector crossing cardiac implants. Perform advanced life support in case of cardiac arrest. Deactivate defibrillator before surgery and then again activate after surgery. Now, electrosurgical smoke, it is again a cause of concern. It reduces lab visualization. It contains toxic gases, potentially carcinogenic chemicals, and viruses. Excessive smoke, it can cause irritation of eyes, upper respiratory tract, and to the theater staff. So, smoke evacuation system should be used to reduce the risk. Surgical masks, these are ineffective for this electrosurgical smoke because they only filter particles down to 5 micron, while 77% of smoke particles are smaller or equal to 1.1 micron. So this is what is the good practice for this safe laparoscopy or safe use of electrosurgery. So use the lowest possible settings. Do not apply dispersive electrode over bony prominences. So this cautery plate or return electrode should not be over bony prominences, metal prosthesis, scar tissue, hairy skin or pressure areas. Vary the surface area of active electrode to desired effect without increasing the power setting. So depending upon the effect you want, use either a wide tip or very sharp tip. Use continuous low voltage waveform cut method for contact coagulation. Use shortened intermittent activation. Avoid open activation. Avoid open activation in close proximity with another metal instrument. Use return electrode monitoring and active electrode monitoring technology. For bipolar devices, allow safety margin when close to vital structure because of lateral thermal spread, because it cannot completely eliminate this lateral thermal spread. The lateral thermal spread with bipolar is less, but it will not completely eliminate it. Avoid tension on tissue during activation because it compromises the coagulation. In areas with anatomical tension, use several applications overlapping the seal without leaving any unsealed tissue in between. Keep the jaws of instrument clean all the time by wiping with wet swabs. To prevent tissue charring, activate the instrument in short intermittent manner and release the tissue just before current flow is terminated at vapor phase. When stuck to tissue, reapproximate the jaws and reactivate before releasing them. Do not use in tissues with metal clips or staples in situ because it may cause injury from current migration. Avoid overcompression of grass tissue to prevent bypass effect, and do not include a big bundle of pedicle in jaws of the instrument for a good skill. Consider skeletonization of vessel before application to achieve a good seal. In patients with comorbidities like liver cirrhosis, prolonged steroid use, diabetes, atherosclerosis, malnutrition, collagen disease, be extra cautious and use alternative techniques as disease may affect the blood vessel. So here the tissue impedance may increase or decrease, and there are increase of lateral thermal spread or inadequate coagulation also. So we don't know exactly what effect the vessel will have. So this is regarding the electrosurgery talk. And this is the question. It is in the strategy for this talk. So you can type the answer in the chat box. So a 45-year-old multiparous woman, she went to a theater for total laparoscopy for heavy menstrual bleeding. After vaginal wall closure, some bleeding was noted at right vaginal angle. Repeated applications of monopolar hook were necessary to achieve hemostasis. 5 days later, she was leaking urine per vaginum and right ureterovaginal fistula was diagnosed. Which electrosurgical complication is most likely to cause this injury? It is direct application. It is not direct coupling. What is the difference between direct application and direct coupling? Direct application means you are direct touching the instrument to the area. It is by lateral thermal spread. Okay. So this instrument is direct in contact with ureter. Got it? This monopolar hook, because of close proximity of wall to the ureter, this instrument was directly in contact with the ureter as such. Now what happens in direct coupling? The injury by another instrument. Okay, so you are using this monopolar hook, it touched the suction cannula and that suction cannula caused this injury. It is called as direct coupling. You got it, Devika? So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
it is direct
Yes, ma'am.
injury by the instrument. Okay, okay, yeah. So answer is C here. Okay, so this is for this today's talk. Tomorrow we will have some another one. I think 2020 talks are completed by now. Okay, tomorrow we will start with 2019.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.